Hey guys, gonna give you a week update on the super monk mode mission I'm undertaking right now. And I happened to hear a deer calling, and baby deer came running out of the forest, so just wanted to take a quick video of that. Just seeing some positive vibes going on around here. Okay, so I started last Monday officially, and it's Monday again today, so the way the videos get uploaded may not be completely accurate, just because I had to figure out kind of first time ever doing YouTube videos. So yeah, everything seems to be going good so far. I'm going to talk about kind of the main point today is going to be about like willpower and continuing onwards, how much we try to justify quitting in our own mind. So I've been doing the super hardcore monk mode of mask house stacks. So I've been doing about 500 push-ups a day, bunch of leg exercises, bunch of pulling exercises, some ab stuff, meditation. Been doing about a 1.5 mile run every day. Like no sex, masturbation either, and it's been really good. I've kind of swung into the mode pretty fast, and it's just been solid overall. You know, kind of the one thing I have to really force myself to do is just do kind of the endless push-ups. It's like, oh man, another set of push-ups, another set. The good thing is kind of by the end of the day, I tend to be so tired, I don't have any like sexual desire necessarily, because it's like, it just, as a man, it's so draining that I don't want to sacrifice the next day and make it have more effort. In terms of running, I recently moved back up into the mountains, so I'm about a little over 9,000 feet here, so it came up another about 3,000 or 4,000 feet. When I first started running, man, it was pretty hard. My wind was sucky, and like the first like a mile and a half I ran, it was just kind of like torture the entire time, where I just had to tell myself this is the worst day, it's going to be getting better. Had a little bit of knee pain. I've been kind of diligent about making sure I stretch correctly, but this is like day 8, I guess, and it's been going good. My wind has improved dramatically. I can actually just kind of think to myself while I'm out running, and not sucking wind too hard, just diligent about stretching my knees and my ankles, and so far good to go. The one thing, what I was going to talk about today was kind of willpower, and one thing I had yesterday that I thought would be a good video was I had a girlfriend call me up that was in town, and she wanted to meet up, and it was completely spur of the moment, so I had no warning about it. And this was a girl I've had a relationship with in the past, and it was like that instantly, as soon as she called up, my mind started kind of turning towards like sexualness, where it's like, oh, you know, are we gonna be able to make out? Maybe I'll be able to hook up with her. And then it was like, oh well, you know, I'm on this challenge, and F this, you know, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I think that's kind of a trap our minds use a lot, is we justify hopping off whatever sort of discipline or willpower bandwagon we're on, and we justify it in all sorts of different ways, that we're tired or we're never going to have this chance again. And I would know sometimes some of the temptations I would use, especially for like justifying like any sort of like sexual things that probably were not ultimately in my best interest, were that I may not get this chance again, or I may have to wait more than a week, or this and that. And it becomes like we sacrifice the future for the present. And I think that's kind of it's a human tendency that's probably pretty bad in the end, because we're so committed to like getting that high right now that we don't really care about what sort of pain or punishment or price we have to pay further down the future. And that's why, you know, people will get super drunk and do really bad things that potentially risk tons of their life later. And it's just like, luckily, so nothing ended up happening, because what I realized was she kind of started making a demand about I go, you know, drive an hour to see her and this and that, and I already had prior plans. And I'm going to get into this another video about making sure you kind of value yourself. but it was kind of like multifaceted because here I was, I had my day planned out on Sunday. You know, I was going to go do some activities and this and that. And then I was ready to kind of like, in some ways, potentially break my streak and then like slot this girl in, you know, for the potential of trying to see her or maybe hook up with her or any of these kind of things. And it was like, well, wait a sec, I need to, well, first of all, I'm committed on this path. And then secondly, by just throwing away my own plans for a girl, I was essentially showing myself that my own plans were less valuable than hanging out with her. And I don't want to disparage her specifically in any way. It was more of that, and it could have just been the same for a guy or something that suddenly called up. He's like, "Yo, bro, you want to hang out?" And it'd be the same kind of thing where it's hard for some of us, and I'm definitely one of them, where it's kind of hard to say no because we don't want to hurt people's feelings and stuff. But that's what we need to do on the road to kind of embracing our own strength. And so yeah, luckily I just told her, I was like, hey, like I already had plans. You need to give me way more warning than this. And then that was kind of the end of it. And the streak's still going strong, still slamming my push-ups, you know, still getting my cold showers and all that on. So it's been pretty good. My, you know, my arms are looking a bit, like the triceps are looking a bit okay. I haven't had any time to heal, so I mean, they're pretty broken down right now. I've been really careful at making sure I stretch my pecs, especially because they tend to be tight just from naturally sitting and then doing all those push-ups. Been doing a lot more like one-legged squats for my exercise. I'll run through a quick set here just so it looks a bit more legit, that I'm not totally faking all this. The one thing I wanted to do was, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, is this book kind of really changed my life when I first came across it. There's a lot of really good quotes in here. You know, everyone thought that Nietzsche was like a nihilist, and that's what I thought too. But then once you get into it, you see that it's kind of more the existentialist and giving value and kind of discipline to your own life, because if you don't, nobody else will. So there's two really good quotes here I want to read. Yeah, something invulnerable, unburiable is with me. Something that would rend rocks asunder. It is called my will. Silently doth it proceed and unchanged throughout the years. Then a second one about willpower is, life is a well of delight, but to him in whom the ruined stomach speaketh, the father of affliction, all fountains are poisoned. To discern, that is the delight of the lion-willed. But he who hath become weary is himself merely willed. With him play all waves. And such is the nature of weak men. They lose themselves on the way, and at last asketh their weariness, why did we ever go on the way? All is indifferent. And I think that what I wanted to talk about was that last quote about the nature of weak men. They lose themselves on the way, and they at last ask their weariness, why did we ever go on the way? All is indifferent. And that's a real big tendency. I see it in myself, and I know it hits other people too, where when we're committed to something, you know, we're really gung-ho at first, like, especially if we haven't started seeing any progress or results or anything, we're way more apt to give up. But that quote is referring to that it's kind of like a lack of willpower, where you know, say you're doing something for 2 weeks, you get to like a 1 week mark, and then you'd be like, oh well, you know, I did this for a week. I could go 2 weeks, but what's the point? There's no point, you know. It's just a bunch of suffering and F it, you know. Or it's like with smoking or drinking or porn or any of these kind of things. It's like you set a goal that you're going to go a month, you're going to go a week, and then you go a bit and you're like, yeah, you know, I'm going to do this. But then we forget that we're addicted to these sorts of things, and the temptation, you know, when we swear it off, we're feeling good, you know. It's like we remember the negatives. Oh, you know, I can't breathe, or I feel worn out, or all this and that we swear it off. And then so we swear it off and we start feeling better, and then all we remember are the good times, you know. Oh, I felt so good, you know, when I was out partying, or this and that, and then we crave those dopamine hits again and again. And because we're not getting them, especially like our brains, you know, are rewiring from our addictions, that we start thinking and desiring those good times so much that we start questioning, you know, this suffering we're putting ourselves through, you know, like, oh, you know, why do I need to go running? You know, it's like, is it that bad to have a donut? Or any of these sorts of rationalizations where we sabotage ourselves. We're kind of our own worst enemy of, you know, like in this book where we ask, why did we even go on this path? You know, why did I even sign up, you know, for this own personal challenge of all these calisthenics, all this running, you know, all, like, no drinking, no sex, any of this stuff? Why did I swear that stuff off? It looks like there may be a moth on the lens there. And we swear all this stuff off, but then we forget that the reason we got into those in the first place was because we liked some aspect of it. We liked drinking because we were around friends, or we liked porn or whatever because it felt like we weren't lonely, or, you know, we liked bad food because it made us not depressed. You know, all these kind of things are kind of holes in our own heart and our own mind that we're trying to plug up through these vices. And I don't want to like judge, because I mean, I've been through all this stuff before, and you know, hey guys, my camera cut out. I just wanted to wrap up by saying that I was talking about vices and that sort of thing, about how they're kind of like, they're various holes in our hearts that we try to plug, and that these videos are not me like saying I have all the answers, because I have just as many vices as other people, just trying to improve those and fix them for the future. And this was about willpower, so I just want to end with, just try taking on small things at first, and, you know, sometimes take on a big thing and just going for it will really make the difference. And, you know, if you need some encouragement, just let me know, drop a line in the comments or something. And anyway, have fun out there, guys. Have another video in a couple of days for some more updates and comments. See ya.